Hey guys, Adam aka askcsradical here, and thank you for checking out this episode of the VCR Podcast. For more content, you can visit our Instagram at vcr.podcast. If you are looking for a video version of this podcast, you can visit my YouTube channel at csradical. And if you are coming from the YouTube channel looking for an audio version of the podcast, you can check us out at anchor.fm/VCR Podcast for all available platforms. Thanks for checking us out, guys, and let's get on with the show.
You have entered the realm of the VCR Podcast with your host, Fish,
They're just bastardizing our childhood and the classics.
Chris,
Nintendogs drove me. It's what makes me want to hurt people.
Radical.
People in general still bitch about everything. It still doesn't change.
Let the podcast begin.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the VCR Podcast, the only podcast that predates itself in the moment the title is spoken. I'm Adam, aka askcsradical, here with Vish and Chris, as per usual, another remote podcast, because we might be doing this for a little while longer, because it looks like it's, we're at the peak week that seems to be where we're at, but it seems like we're still a ways away before we can finally see each other and probably punch each other in the face as soon as we see each other, you know.
Aren't we planning to open the borders, though?
Well, We got to worry about opening our own fucking front door before the border. Come on.
I can't wait to punch you both in the face.
Mostly me. I'm probably sure I'm the most. We say it was Adam Trump, but he hasn't even been here, so we can't even really give him a reason.
Yes, this is true.
Unless the reason is that he hasn't been here.
And he also is planning to open the border, so...
It's going to be a huge opening.
Madden.
Sounds like a porn. Huge opening.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I won't argue that one. That's for sure. I will definitely not argue that. But as per usual, we're going to start off this podcast with what we've been doing lately. Same mostly goes for me. I still am playing Trails of Cold Steel. We're now at almost 110 hours. Nearly done chapter 4, I believe, at this point. It's Trails of Cold Steel 3. We've done this for like a month.
How many chapters are there?
I don't know. That's the point. I said this like 2 podcasts ago. I don't want to know how many chapters there are.
Oh, okay.
Don't have to get mad, God.
Yes, I do.
Valid question.
Yes,
Just saying.
Nerds are
Nope.
so sensitive.
Nope. You're supposed to be a friend and a host on this show. You should be able to pay attention to this shit. But no, I must be getting close to the end of this one because it's starting to get real serious now. A lot of things are starting to get revealed and people are actually like in some danger. So it's like, oh, okay, we're starting to ramp things up. All right. There might be an end. So maybe about 150 hours I'll be done.
That's crazy. Have you been doing a lot of side quests, or is this mostly main game?
I'm doing everything. Like, that's the thing, too. I'm spending a lot of time just going through everything, because it's such a great setting that it's in. Like, everything about it, like, all the side quests. There's a little bit of fun to some of them. Sometimes there's even, like, this extra little quirk to it, so...
Are you doing that usual RPG strategy where you're in one specific area for a long time, just because it's easy to level up your characters in that area?
No, the way that I'm running it, if you pretty much just fight everything that you come across, you'll be fine.
Okay.
Because you don't necessarily need to be a high level to be really ridiculous. Like, I have some equipment setups that are just disgusting for the game. So, for example, I have my main party is set up so that one guy can do double damage on his first attack, and he also has an effect on him that if he kills anything, he gets a shit ton of combat points back, which is how you use all your skills. And sometimes his critical rate is really good too, so sometimes I'll one-shot like 4 enemies in a row, so no matter what I've done, no matter how like expensive the attack is, I get all those points right back from all the kills I just got with it.
Crit hits are so satisfying.
And then that's one character. My magician has it's triple healing power. The area of effect is quadrupled of all its spells, and its attack spells also do crit damage, and the first one does double damage. And then she also, if she just does a regular physical attack when I don't feel like wasting magic points, she has a 20% chance to instant kill any enemy.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that's my magician. Then I have my side tank who has a shit ton of status dealing effects, and anytime that she deals damage to something that has a status effect on it, it does 35% extra damage on top of what she already does. And then my last guy, who is just my walking fuck you guy, he has 70% evasion. And if he evades successfully, he deals 400% extra damage, plus he has another effect on top of it that doubles that. So he does 800% damage if he counters, which has a 7 out of 10 chance.
That is so just...
So I walk into a battle and be like, all right, if I don't kill you in the first turn, you're going to try to attack this one guy, and then he'll kill you.
Yeah.
So by the time that I'm at this point in the game, it's not that I'm over leveled. I'm just broken.
Yeah, you're definitely OP at this point.
Otherwise, I'm not going to talk about anything that isn't.
System.
Sorry, what?
You broke the system.
Yeah, it's a video game. It's not that hard, actually. Otherwise, the only thing I'm doing, I'm not going to talk about demo reels I've already done, which is my series now that I'm doing free demos either on PlayStation or Steam. But I had released a second, except some random Middle Eastern children's video channel decided to block it on grounds that I don't understand at all. So that's the thing.
But it's still kind of funny.
It's funny and it's also frustrating. Like I'm still sitting there being like, I don't understand. What could possibly in a Japanese video game could you be flagging? But I mean, I'll talk about it anyway, since this is the way to at least speak slightly about it. I played the demo for a game called Disaster Report 4, which is from a series that I believe, if I'm not mistaken, started on PS2 as Raw Danger, and then eventually turned into Disaster Report. It's basically a series of games about surviving a massive earthquake. So it's basically like just like a survival situation. There's no like zombies. I'm not talking that kind of survival. It's just straight up you trying to get to safety and being able to survive and maybe help a few people along the way. So I was pretty stoked.
You're trying to salvage people in it?
You don't have to. You can honestly just self-preserve and that's it. You can play it however you feel like. But there's generally like a little bit of story to it. From what I remember from the two games that I played on PS2 way back in the day, it had a light story with a few characters in there, but it was more just the spectacle of just making the right decisions when you were going wherever you were going. So I figure, okay, it's a demo for this game. You know, this might be something I take a look at because I really like the series beforehand. This thing is an absolute dumpster fire pile of shit.
To be entirely honest, it doesn't seem like a game that people would have put a lot of effort into making.
Well, it
has potential.
The first two games that I played were great, and I think what just happened here is that this game is so far in its life that I think just there's not a lot of budget left. Either that or, I mean, it looks fine. Like, visually, it looks perfectly fine. And then when you start playing the game, you start to realize really quickly how bad things are. Now, the video hasn't popped up yet because it hasn't been unblocked. But I will have to apologize in advance if anybody watches that, because for some reason they have a really loud summer cicada noise, and it's unbearable. Like, it's ridiculously loud, and it covers up all other noise. And it's just one of those things where it's like, what the fuck were you guys doing there? And that was the first problem. After that, the fact that there is no direction, and which is, I guess, is a curse and a blessing at the same time, because if it's a survival thing, you should have to go off your own instincts, except it would be nice if there was a tutorial to tell you exactly how to play, because it doesn't tell you anything. So the demo just drops you in and you don't know what the fuck's going on. So
Metal Gear has that too, I found.
Yeah, but Metal Gear shoots shit. You can figure shoot shit. Like, it's hold the trigger down and then hit the other trigger to shoot. Like, we can figure that part out.
Here's the thing, Metal Gear is not a game.
I've played the game, I know, but you shoot shit or you sneak. It's not hard to figure out. But
eventually,
the main thing that I started getting a little bit crazy about is there are extra earthquakes that'll happen after the big one, and if you don't brace, which it never tells you, you take damage, and you can probably only take about 3 of these before you die.
Can you not replenish your health somehow?
I never found anything to do it.
Replenish?
I mean, I never finished the demo. I straight up got fed up and stopped.
Wow.
So
that says a lot for a demo.
And
we won't play this game ever.
It was a half hour, and I spent probably 20 minutes of it trying to figure out what the fuck to do. And then when I finally figured out what the fuck to do, I didn't care. Because it was too late. Not to mention, there was some weird stuff. Like, there is a point where a road had split, and the road is literally, like, the road from the ground to where the split is, you can climb up it. It looks like it's only 6 feet high, and you look like if you just reached, you can grab the edge and pick yourself up. But it's like, it's too high for me to climb up. No, it's not. Like, you stare at it, and your character is basically as high as that wall is. You're like, no, you can climb this. Don't bullshit me.
Yeah.
So, is it like when there's a Snorlax in the way, but you're not allowed to walk around it? You can only...
Yeah, it's that level of stupid.
Oh, okay. So, gaming logic.
So, yeah.
Gaming logic.
Now, unfortunately, that's not the end of all the stupid demos that I'm playing. There's another one, the next one that I release, which will be probably this weekend at this point, maybe a little bit later on the Monday or the Tuesday. That's my first experience with an indie game, and I'll talk about that on the next show because it was interesting, and I'll get onto that. But let's go with you, Vish. What have you been up to?
So this week has, and it's not in intention, very Mortal Kombat based. So there was a movie that was released this week called It was an animated movie, Mortal Kombat Legends: Scorpion's Revenge.
I have heard of this. I've been told that I need to watch it.
Yeah, it's like the original, based off the source material, which was both a good and bad thing, because it's just fun and it's good nostalgia, being like, oh, this is truly Mortal Kombat, but it's also like, oh, this is exactly like Mortal Kombat. Johnny Cage is a complete douchebag. But it's also, you'd expect, if it's called Scorpion's Revenge, Scorpion would be the main guy in the story, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. As usual, Mortal Kombat seems to put a lot of focus on Liu Kang.
I mean,
and I like Liu Kang. I think he's very easy to use. I think he's a good character to use. But Liu Kang isn't really that interesting. And the way I was looking at it is like the first Mortal Kombat movie was the first piece of Mortal Kombat that actually had substance to it. Actually had backstory, actually had characterizations. Like, when I know I'll tell you an impact, such a huge impact that movie had on the franchise. So Kano was always depicted as an American character. It wasn't until Mortal Kombat the movie came out that they were like, you know what, this guy's going to be Australian going forward. So that movie had a huge impact on the franchise in general.
I never knew that.
Yeah. And
he fits as an Australian.
Oh yeah, he does. And the whole thing about like Sonya and Jax being like having a bromance, and then Johnny and Sonya, like that was all from that movie. And there was some cool, like the fight scenes were really cool, and they really went over the top with violence, which is,
I mean, if it wasn't, then we would immediately have to say it's a failure.
Yes, exactly.
Especially because it's animated.
Yeah, and so it was fun to watch, but it's just like, I think Mortal Kombat needs to find a way to shift this focus away from Liu Kang, because they try to.
I mean, it has. I mean, if you're talking the games, it has.
Yes and no. I'll get to that in a second. But I just find they need to focus on balancing the characters out and really give the people what they want. Liu Kang is like a forced face of Mortal Kombat, but when you think of Mortal Kombat, who do you think of, really?
Sub-Zero.
Yeah, or
Scorpion.
Yeah.
No, you clearly think of fucking Noob Saibot.
Noob Saibot was so good. And Smoke.
No, Noob Saibot's really cool though.
Yeah, so was Smoke, so was Reptile. Basically, every single character that has the friggin' outfit with a different color is just cool.
The ninja, yeah.
So
that was I think you would enjoy it. It's very violent, very brutal, very gory.
I love how you went. You will love it. It's very violent. What are you trying to say about me?
It's ridiculous, though. It's legit ridiculous.
As long as it's like Helsing levels ridiculous, I'll take it.
Yeah. And also when there's other characters from the game in the movie, you forget about them. You feel like, oh yeah, you were here. So it's like there was really no other focus besides on Sonya Blade, Johnny Cage, and Liu Kang. Everyone else you kind of forgot was there in the end.
Yeah.
And then when I also say Mortal Kombat based, I gave in and bought Mortal Kombat 11 Gold package off the PlayStation Network because it was $48, and the cheapest it probably would have come for right now, and it would be during the holiday season, is $40. So I was like, you know what? I need something to do. I need something to play, and I've been wanting to play this for a while. So it's really good. The story mode was so much better than the previous title. Not as good as number 9, but it's a really good story mode. They have the X-rays are now called I forget what they're called, but it's essentially if your health is low, that's when you can use them. And
Oh, okay.
the bad guy, like the main boss, she is fucking dangerous. It isn't like some like Shao Kahn, like
No,
I don't know.
she's like this mystical fucking being.
Yeah, she's like a god type creature. Like
Oh,
she
interesting.
is really cool.
She's
I
like
didn't know it
double
wasn't,
riding.
Shao Kahn.
Pardon?
Double riding? I didn't realize it wasn't Shao Kahn.
No,
Oh, he's in the game.
yeah, they've gone out of their way now though. This is whole new canon now. Like
Yeah,
ever
Because
since
of the
10.
events from the
It's what was cool with this one, they bring in Mortal Kombat from the past and Mortal Kombat of the present into this game.
and this
And
one, ooh, I like. when they
I've
do that.
only beaten the arcade mode with 2 characters, Sub-Zero and Joker. Joker's not that
Of
great.
course. No,
Uh,
Yeah, but
Sub-Zero's really
I mean, you could make the argument they didn't have to make him great. People were just happy to see him in there.
yeah.
true.
Joker was not great. Sub-Zero as usual is always good to have. In the story mode, because you got to play as majority of the characters except the villains. There's all the characters are pretty well balanced, but again, it was very Liu Kang focused. Even though Liu Kang wasn't really that prominent and present in the game until later on, but it's like, you know what? No, Liu Kang's the hero. Liu Kang's gonna save the day, and it's like, come on, guys, like
I mean, that's yours.
it's I just don't. I think there's other more interesting characters in Mortal Kombat than Liu Kang. And
I'm cool with it.
and again, like it's cool now that like having Shao Kahn as a playable character, but he is DLC, so you would have to purchase him or get the gold package. And then Spawn was really cool having him in the game. And there's a few other
Which
ones.
is interesting when you think about it, because now that means Spawn's been in 2 different fighting game series.
Oh yeah, what was the other
Oh,
one?
yeah.
Soul Calibur.
Soul Calibur. Yeah.
He was on the Xbox version of
Oh,
Soul
yeah,
Calibur too.
Like Adam, I caved in and purchased Soul Calibur 6 from the from Amazon because it was for dirt cheap. And then I also saw Tekken, the latest edition was dirt cheap as well. So I now have all the latest versions, the latest editions of all the top 4 fighting franchises.
And
Street Fighter,
if I
Mortal
was to
Kombat, Tekken,
guess,
and Soul Calibur.
you're probably struggling with Soul Calibur and Tekken because they're not the same thing as what you're probably used to.
Well, I played the arcade mode of Soul Calibur, and I was able to get through it with one character because I was playing Metal Gear at the time, so I never really got into Soul Calibur while I was playing it. And when I was playing it, I was like, this is technical, this is a little more strategic, but this is actually really fun. It's cool, like you have to like maneuver around it. Like if someone's hitting you high, you gotta hit them low, or defend yourself, and or defend high, defend low. Like it's a really cool concept.
If we
Of the
actually like
fighting
when we
mode.
actually get to play each other, you're gonna hate me because I'm gonna play as characters like Yoshimitsu and Voldo and break your fucking mind. Because those characters, if you know how to use them, it tortures people because you don't know how to fucking play against them because you can't guess what they're doing.
I wasn't a big fan of the story mode. How you like, I don't know. Like I get the appeal of creating your own character. It can be really cool, but I prefer like the story modes for fighting games. How they do it now, where you get to play as multiple characters in certain episodes,
Yeah, that is.
and
much
that way
better.
you can play as different characters.
I mean, it would depend on
And
the
you're
quality
like-
of the writing.
Oh, even the story doesn't have to be good. Like the way Mortal Kombat does it, and even how they did in Smash Brothers Brawl, I thought was perfect. But
I don't know.
that's
I
just
would
my take.
expect the story to be good in a story mode. Otherwise, why would I play a story mode? I would just play arcade.
That is true.
Yeah,
The,
well, the writing should be interesting.
I mean, hell, like
or at least
look no further than Mortal Kombat 9 or Injustice or games like that. Like those story modes are fucking good.
oh yeah, the Injustice 2 story mode was amazing. And what's it called the I found out why. I realized why why the Mortal Kombat 9 story mode took so much longer to finish than the other two.
Because it's 3 games.
No, no, no. So the Mortal Kombat 9, you couldn't skip past the cutscenes. So if you got into when you like were done for the day, go back to it, you would have to watch all the cutscenes all over again, and some of them are long, like 10 minutes long. But that's still like I think that was the game that really revamped Mortal Kombat to quality again because
Well, yeah, it
the
was
2000s
literally a
were kind-
reboot.
the 2000s were not kind to Mortal Kombat at all. But Chris, what have? Oh, sorry. One more thing. I watched this animated Marvel movie called Avengers Confidential: Black Widow and Punisher. It was made by the people who made Ninja Scroll, and it was okay. But Chris, go ahead.
It was only okay. Oh, you were posting about it, and I got actually
Yeah.
excited that I wanted to watch that.
No, it wasn't terrible. It was okay, but it was more of a Black Widow movie, and the Punisher was like a sidekick.
Oh, okay. I mean, Black Widow's still cool.
I mean, we'll put
No,
it up.
no,
We'll
she's
put it up
awesome.
against the actual Black Widow movie and see what happens.
This is true. This is true.
If it ever happens.
It'll happen.
Yeah, true.
No, we're
it's
gonna
funny-
be in quarantine for 10 years and we'll never see it.
Let's not hope. Let's hope not.
I wasn't hoping.
That would be an apocalypse-like situation.
At
For
that
sure.
point, I think we'd all go. I think we'd all go psychotic.
Oh yeah, there would be actual riots and just very.
That's
bad.
legitimate. That will be legitimately post-apocalyptic at that point.
Yeah. Episode 1 of Fear the Walking Dead.
So would you say then,
Yes.
if we were the only 3 left, would we be able to call this podcast the Last of Us podcast?
Yeah.
I would just say, just call it The Last of Us.
No, it's a podcast.
Well,
You,
you
have,
still
you
have to say
always put
podcast.
podcast. It's just
Yeah,
the
they have to
rule.
know who we are and why.
Because otherwise, how would people know that this 90-minute audio file is not a podcast?
This is true, right?
Well, if it's just the 3 of us, we could rewrite history.
If it's just the
Don't
three
give
of us,
me
we
don't give me that power.
If it's just the 3 of us, none of us can produce a baby, and there would be no history to create.
Oh,
We'd
I
die
will
and
I
we'd be
will
the
leave
last.
things behind to make it seem like anything that happened in history was all from anime.
Okay.
They
Really?
will
Seems like-
people will be like reborn in the new world, and Goku will be Jesus.
I actually read a book that was not far off from this, and it's pretty funny. It's not a funny book. I mean, it's just funny thinking of it now. I read it a long time ago, but it's basically where people found a book, and it was where civilization had broken down so long ago, and this thing they found buried, it was an engineering manual for a person who created like an atomic bomb kind of situation, and it was the
Oh.
manual for a product. Like if you were to buy a TV and there was a manual, but imagine that gets found buried in the sand of a desert like thousands and thousands of years from now, and they start a religion over this manual. And eventually it goes through the whole history again. And by the end of it, civilization has grown. They made an atomic bomb again, and they're about to just start history all over because it's like what we're destined to do, apparently.
I mean, it's true.
Well, fuck.
It was a very cool book. But I mean, just replacing this engineering manual with like a manga or something, like I'm just picturing how the world would go, and it would be awesome, and I'm there for it.
All right. Well, otherwise, what are you even up to?
Well, I know something I'm going to be up to because as you guys were just talking about Injustice, I just realized I own the first Injustice on Steam. Never played it. I've never played any of them, and I forgot that they're known to have like a really good story mode for a fighting
Oh,
game.
it's a great story mode. It's the number 2 had probably the best video game story, fighting game story mode I've ever seen.
Yeah, so you guys have got me excited to install that and play through it because, as you know, I'm trying to do a certain amount of games per month to get through my backlog, and it's something like that which I know I'd play for 10 or something hours and I'd probably be done with it. Like I'm not going to play through as master them in arcade mode and stuff like that. Like I'll do story mode, goof around in arcade mode, and then I'll probably be done. So that's a good one to go through, experience, and then like knock it off the backlog. So thank you for that.
No problem.
But what I've actually been playing, so also because of something Vishal was talking about, I finally installed Metal Gear Solid 5, and I'm only about 10 and a bit hours in. I think so. I haven't gone into it as much, but like, oh my god, that game is so good. I'm only on, I think, chapter 3 story wise, but as soon as you get past the second story, or second chapter, or whatever the heck it is, mission, it
Yeah.
starts to open up with all the side stuff. You can go back to areas you're already at and do different missions. So there's like
Did you get the sniper rifle?
I
Sniper
bought,
rifle?
yeah, I made one, yeah. Yeah, I started fooling around with the base and like I have just gone around. I went to one base where I needed to on a side mission, get a translator, find the guy,
Yep.
attach,
Russian guy?
yeah. Fine. Oh, not that one. There was another one after that.
Oh, okay.
There's another interpreter at like a couple side missions down. And this person was in a base with like 9 other guards around them, and they were knocked out in a building or like asleep or whatever the heck's going on. And also, I just love the fact of attaching balloons to people in that game and just watching them fly off. Watching dogs, wolves, the horse when you're done, like holy fuck, it's so funny.
Trust me,
But
once you get to the part where you save Emmerich,
mm,
that's when the game's like, hey, this is something awesome.
See,
yeah, like
if you keep telling people, all of a sudden they're going to gear up for it, and then it's going to be disappointment. That's just how it works. You don't hype them up, man.
could be.
No, trust me,
Don't be the hype, man. It doesn't work sometimes.
I'm not exaggerating the hype on it. This is like
I cannot wait for him to talk about it and be like, that was it. I want it to happen. Even if it's not true, Chris, please tell him that just to screw with him.
Just to fuck with him. But yeah, like just playing that game, I went in to save to get that interpreter, and there was 9 other guards. I'm like, oh, I'm not killing anybody. Every single person's getting ballooned back to my base and going to the R&D division. Fuck that. Like I wanna grow this and make new weapons. I want a new sniper rifle. I want new stuff.
It's not even that. Eventually you just built an army and like nobody ever gets killed off, so you just have like 5,000 guys.
My goal is every time I go, and if I have like 10 of those balloons, I'm gonna get 10 people, and then I'll leave and go back to the base and restart the mission and get more. Like I'm not even afraid to do that.
So when because I told you, like, once the main story's over, there's more to the game after that. So
Yeah,
eventually I got to a point where the levels I could play were levels I've already played, but I would have to play them in extreme. And frankly, I just don't have the patience to deal with that.
yeah, I don't like
So
doing that.
I then just YouTubed it, and oh my god, it's really like emotionally heavy shit that happens after the main game.
They kill the dog, don't they?
No. Thankfully, that I didn't. If that happens, I didn't see it.
That's what the name of the game is. It's the Phantom Pain because it's the ghost of your dead dog.
No.
Please no.
But yeah, like I'm loving that game, and even though I'm not far in the story, so like story wise, to me, like the opening to that game, just
Was
in that hospital
fucking
and everything,
insane.
I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like it's just intense, insane shit, and it's like 3 straight hours or 2 hours or something. Like, but at no point was I like, I want this to end. This is going too long for an intro. No, the whole time I'm like, yeah,
It
no,
fucks
this
you
is
up.
amazing.
You're
Yeah,
like, because like you're seeing you're hiding, and then you're seeing one guy is getting killed while he's staring at you for help, while
Yeah.
he's being like choked to death. It's like, save me, and like dead.
yeah.
It's like,
No, it's so good. Such a good intro. And I went, so when I was getting that interpreter, I went and it was like playing Assassin's Creed for me. Like I would sneak in, wait till someone was alone, boom, attach a balloon to them. Well, tranquilize them, attach a
Mhm.
balloon, and then go back into the shadows. And eventually I just took out every soldier. I had one balloon left, and the only person left was that interpreter I needed.
yeah.
And I just like slowly would take away. And then at the end, it was like the guard post or something became mine. like it did that whole thing.
Yeah, it's very relieving when you hear guard post captured. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, I love so it's a really, really good game. But again, I've gotten lost in the side quests and or just the simple side missions.
Yeah.
So I'm only like 12 hours in. Story wise, I'm probably like 4 hours in.
Yeah,
Yeah, like you said, it is so good. Like it's already really, really damn good. And I'm assuming it looked the same on PS4, but like it looks beautiful. Like the game is just remarkable with how well it looks. Like when I was playing it, I was like, this looks better than most games I'm playing now. Like
And it's
bar
crazy
none.
to think too that game's like old enough too that it's like, man, they probably haven't even harnessed the full thing of the PS4, and I think that came up before even the Pro was announced. So
Well,
Yeah.
the thing is, though, I don't think they could have because the game is huge. Like with the amount of with the scenery, with the weapons, with the technology in it, I don't think they were able to
well, that's not necessarily
enhance it any
true because I
further.
mean, Grand Theft Auto 5 came out like right at the beginning of a new generation, so it ended up really testing like the previous generation of consoles to their limit, and that game was fucking huge. So I mean, it's always possible.
True. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but I'm loving that. That's like my big game I'm playing right now. And then when I'm not playing that because I'm not great with focusing only on one game when I know I have so many others I need to be playing. I've been playing through Animal Crossing. I mean that's more you just play every day
You
and wait
mean
for
that? You
fucking
mean playing the turnip stock market?
yeah, waiting for turnips to not fucking fuck your butt with their prices. Like it's
Oh, actually,
ridiculous.
it was funny. I saw a meme today. I forgot to send it to you guys. It was like for high school kids. Like my mom's impressed. I'm up so early, and then it's like I'm just up to get turnips in Animal Crossing right now.
Yeah, because they're you can only buy them between 6 a.m. and noon on a Sunday. Like who the heck is up on a Sunday morning? But either way, yeah. So I've been.
You underestimate the power of loser gamers like us.
Oh yeah, no. I've been waking up now every fucking Sunday because of this game. Where normally no, there's no way. But yeah, so I've been playing a bit of Animal Crossing, and by a bit I mean checking it twice a day, every day. Playing through that for some reason. So I had my PC. I was doing a couple updates and stuff on it, so I was deciding to play Switch for a while and got into it for a couple days. And besides just Animal Crossing, I decided like, maybe there's a couple other games I'll play on the Switch just a little bit. I played some more of Tetris 99, which I hadn't played in a long time.
Oh, that must get addicting.
I forgot how fucking addicting that is. Oh my god! And because it's been out for so long, people got good. People got like stupid good. I can't believe if I make it into the top 50, it's like, all right, you know what? This is a win. Good for me. Because the
Act-
people they're like magicians.
Well, because I would imagine most of the people still left on that game have probably been playing it a lot more.
Yeah,
So actually,
you have a level associated with you where it show and basically the
yeah.
more you play, it shows how like that's the only way to level up is just to play. I'm level 14, and I mean a couple days ago I was only level 12. So playing, I think about 4 days worth a bit each day got me only 2 levels. I'm going against people that are like level 61, 57. I don't even know what it maxes out at, but it's just interesting to see everybody. And they're the people dying around me because it shows where you placed. And then it shows like, say you're in 49th place, you'll see the people who died just before you. And then you'll see it slowly get added because you can actually just sit there and wait for the game to
Oh yeah.
finish and watch through. And you'll actually see the people who start dying after you. And it's like, man, these people are like level 57 or like 46 or 62. Like, who the fuck's going to win this? What level are they? I can only imagine. But yeah, so I've really enjoyed that, and I even when they've added a bunch of new features that weren't there before. Like before, they used to have these tournaments where they'd play on weekends, and you just had to play in the tournament, and you didn't have to win. And every time you played a game, you got a certain amount of points, and once you hit the maximum of 10 or 100 points, whatever it was, you would earn a free theme, and it was always after something. So when Fire Emblem came out, there was a Fire Emblem tournament, and the theme just changes what the background, the music, what the Tetris blocks look like, and everything like that. My favorite theme is the Game Boy one because it's actually a Game Boy in the middle. It's the old Game Boy graphics for the actual Tetris pieces, and it's the Game Boy soundtrack, which is just phenomenal. Because I
Oh
mean, it's
yes.
it's Tetris, right?
Have you
It's one of the
ever
only. Sorry, go ahead.
try watching a sporting event with the Tetris theme song playing in the background?
Why would you
Oh
do
my!
that? You could just put the
It makes
Doom.
it.
Yeah, but you put the Doom music on. That's much better.
Oh, Doom too. Yeah.
No, Tetris is way. I don't know the Doom thing, but this one, I
It's
don't know.
heavy
It just
metal.
it
Do
makes
I
it
need to
more
even
intense.
explain that much?
I guess not.
It's
Uh,
intense.
so one thing I also forgot to mention, I bought just for fun because my cousin mentioned it's fun, and it actually is. If you just want to have a quick thing, I got Uno off the PSN as
Oh,
well.
Jesus
Oh, I want to
Christ.
get that. I actually want to get that. So many people have been talking about it for so long, and then it's like $5
It's
on Switch. I'm
yeah,
like, oh, I
it
should
was
just fucking
$5.
get it.
It's just something just fun to play. It's just like, I gotta wait 5 minutes for this to come on, or I gotta wait for that. It's just like 5-10 minutes. You just play it. It's just dumb fun.
Yeah, yeah. That's how I've been treating the Tetris 99. Just because each round, I want to say lasts like maybe 5 minutes, maybe. And that's if you probably get in first place. Like for me, I probably get about 3 minutes in. I've come in like 20th place. I think the best I did so far is 19th. So not even close to first. It's not bad, but it's not. Oh my god. Because remember when you play Tetris and you make like you get a Tetris stack or whatever the heck it's called, and you get 4 lines all at once. You
Mhm.
put 3 lines of blocks on somebody else's screen, and you actually
Mm.
choose who you want that to go to. You can manually choose who you want to attack with your Tetris blocks, or you can set it to certain like people who are attacking you, people who are close to death, random, and I can't remember what the last one is, but I always just either go.
It's like giving the +4 pickup card in Uno.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I played enough that I bought the Legend of Zelda theme as well. So the background is
Mm.
Legend of Zelda. The Tetris pieces look like all Zelda like, and this is the original NES Zelda, so it's pretty cool. But it's got like this really cool Zelda theme background that plays while you're playing. So it's not the Tetris theme; it's like a Zelda theme. It's actually pretty cool.
Oh.
I do like that one, so I like to switch between Game Boy and Legend of Zelda now when I play. And lastly, the thing that I played for a bit is there's the Easter sale, spring sale, or whatever the heck it's called on the Switch, and well, actually on every system right now. But on Switch, I was going through and I was buying certain games that were like 50 cents and all that for games I already have on Steam, and it's
And
like
Smash
let you.
Brothers is $5 off.
Yeah, no, Smash Brothers is $0 off right now.
Oh,
In
okay.
Europe, all the main Nintendo games that aren't like brand new were all 33% off, but they didn't add that to the North American one for
Of
some reason.
course
I have no
not.
idea why. Yeah, I don't know why.
Because we can't have nice things. That's why.
No, Nintendo just doesn't
We
want us to
definitely
have
can.
nice things. We can have nice
Yeah,
things, just not with Nintendo.
yeah, I don't know why. Like it was weird that Europe got it and not us, but I don't know. I digress.
Japan has a better
Um,
relationship with Europe than they do with us.
yeah, that's that. Yeah, yeah. Ugh, I blame Pearl Harbor. Um, oh,
For the record,
oh,
friends, we're in Canada.
yes, yes. Um, so, but I ended up finding there was a Sonic sale. There was all this other stuff. I picked up Sonic Mania and the Sega Genesis collection just because they were dirt cheap. And I already have them on Steam, but I mean, the amount of Sega Genesis games I'm willing to play, I'm fine having like the faster load time, nicer one on the TV through my PC, and then the one on the Switch for when I'm on the go when I still feel like playing a game. I ended up playing about 8 hours of Fantasy Star 4, like just randomly the other day.
Good. Good.
And yeah, and there's a fast forward feature on there. So when you're level grinding, holy crap, it is so much better.
So basically, it's like playing on an emulator.
Yeah, basically. It even has a lot of the emulator settings right in the thing. Because what Sega did is they made it look like a 90s bedroom with Sega posters, Sonic comics on the floor, and stuff like that. And there's a Sega
Oh, is it like
Genesis.
the PS3 Sega Master Collection?
Yeah, pretty much. It's pretty much just another version of it.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay,
They've just
okay.
been, yeah, like they just came out with it again on PS4 and Xbox One, and they just have like a new UI for it, but it's the same fucking games. It's the exact same thing. Different intro music and different like UI. Like it's a bedroom that's interactive. You can even have the bedroom you have to set whether you want to be in real time or not. So like if you're playing at 2 a.m., it's 2 a.m. in that bedroom.
Hmm.
Or you can set it to always be night or always be day. You actually pick like you select a cartridge, it actually puts it into like a Sega Genesis, and then there's a TV, and you can play where it actually looks like it's just a TV in front of you. You can make it full screen. You can make it still 4:3, and it has grid lines on the side. You can add screen scan lines. You can give it that curvature look, so it actually looks like it's on a old school tube TV. Like they've made all these up. I'm just playing in like stretched, like look as nice as possible mode. I don't have any of the filters on because you can smooth it out and everything. There's just something weird about playing 16-bit graphics for me where they've like smoothed it out a little bit from an emulator. Yeah, like it's not needed. Like going like widescreen instead of just normal full screen and stuff like that. I definitely like the widescreen
Well,
effect
it's like
of it,
with
but
The Simpsons on Disney Plus. They're putting the old episodes back in the full screen mode because people aren't enjoying the widescreen conversion of it. It doesn't look right, and it doesn't.
yeah, it's because what they did for that widescreen is because they couldn't, add extra on the left and right hand side. They zoomed in and like you lost a bit.
Yeah,
This is a little different where it stretches it slightly, but it seems to add a little on the sides for you.
yeah.
It's interesting, but it still looks good. So I do not mind using the stretched full screen. But Phantasy Star 4, I forgot how beautiful that game is. Not graphically, just the music, the story, the nostalgia.
Yeah, for a Sega Genesis game, there's
oh.
some really solid music in there.
Yeah, it's really good. It's actually the first soundtrack of a game I ever had because I made it myself. I had like a tape player with a microphone, and I would go in the game to a certain spot. I had multiple save points and everything. I'd go to a certain part, put the microphone up to the speaker, and record like 5 minutes of the music.
Yeah.
Get to another point, record 5 minutes. I made a 2-sided tape that I used to have as a kid. Like I'm talking, I was like 11, and I used to just listen to the music from that game. It's the first one I ever did that for. It was like what got me into gaming music.
You know you're in for something when you listen to the intro of that game.
Oh yeah, dun 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 dun. Oh, it's so good.
And even what's it called? The one game I really a hidden gem on the Genesis. Well, I don't know if it's called. I don't know if it's a hidden gem because there's a sequel for it with Vector Man. The theme for that one is fantastic.
Yeah, Vector Man's fantastic.
So
and
anyway,
that's on this collection.
So anyways, let's move on to some stories. So we put up like 40 minutes on the intro. Holy shit, that's a hell of an intro.
Played a lot.
Yeah, we have. So first thing, number one here, we have the ESRB in the news again for adjusting its ratings on in-game purchases. Now they're adding a random item purchases on the label that they usually put on games. I don't know if that necessarily does much. I mean, now it's supposed to just say in-game purchases in brackets includes random items. I get why they're doing it, but I don't think the result's going to really mean anything because at the end of the day, most people's ire
the fact is they're making an effort for it.
Is it though? Like, is really just putting 3 more words on a label really actually work? Because generally speaking, what I feel like is going on here is them just wanting to have plausible deniability now. If a parent ends up having one of those crazy stories where their kid racks up $1,300 on their credit card.
Yeah, true.
Because
I hadn't thought of it that way.
The ire with us, with loot boxes and all this shit, is not the fucking rating system. It's the fact that kids have access to it, and it's the fact that it takes away from a game that does not need them.
Yeah, no, they're stupid. They're like, it's just dumb.
Like, generally speaking, like,
loot boxes suggest points will be illegal.
I won't go that far because the second that you do that, all of a sudden, like, what else becomes illegal? So you got to be careful around that point. But a lot, like, some people are trying to say, oh, you guys don't actually give a shit about kids or anything. You're just doing it because, you know, you don't like something. It's like, I mean, yes and no. I mean, the reality is I could care less if a parent racks up debt because of their kid, because that's your fault as a parent not watching your damn kid. But
yeah, how did they get your credit card?
But at the same time, well, they probably just use their own account, right? There's probably no parental controls on the thing. Like, I made the suggestion, it's like, okay, why, if a console has parental controls, can they not apply to loot boxes in a video game? So if your child has an account on your PlayStation and they boot up Madden, they shouldn't be able to buy packs. There shouldn't be any way for them to buy packs. So
I think you mean Madden.
No one cares. So at the end of the day, it's more along the lines of at least give parents a get out of jail free card so that at least even if an honest parent just doesn't know, you know, at least it gives that option. But for the most part, I'm not going to lie and say that I could care less if a kid's, you know, getting exposed to microtransactions, as shady as it is. The reality is is I don't want these things in a game that never needed them in the first place, but because we've collectively as a society, whether it's people who whether they have a lot of money to burn, in which case fuck you twice, because A, you have more money, and B, you're making it worse for us as gamers that can't afford it. And then two, some people have made the excuse, well, I work really hard and long hours, and I have kids, so I don't get time to play games very often. So I do this so I don't have to do all these other things and stuff. To which I say, stop playing games that require you to do that. Then, like, don't play Madden's Ultimate Team. You can just play Madden and play fucking regular GM mode or career mode. You don't have to play the Ultimate Team. So there's always that part. So I don't buy a lot of the reasons that people give for why loot boxes are okay. At the end of the day, if they are as expensive as they are still, they should not be there. Even at half price, I think loot boxes are too expensive for what they offer you, because it's all digital value that has no value in real life. You can't sell most of these things. You can't sell. It's not like there's a marketplace. It's just tied to your account. So it's like having Magic the Gathering cards.
Trading option?
No, most of the time there isn't. So it's like having Magic the Gathering cards that no one can play with. It's like, what's the point?
Yeah, because at least with those, you can sell them.
Yeah.
Like I had Magic cards and I sold them.
Like, you can't sell, let's say, an NBA 2K. You can't sell a LeBron James character. You can't. It's just yours, no matter how much money you spend to it. And as a guy who has played MLB The Show for 2 years, and I'm not going to play this year's edition, not even because I don't like what they do. They're great games. It's just I can't justify playing those modes because they're so taxing. They take too long to grind out for free. I never spent a dime on them. But it's ridiculous.
And there's also the, as far as I know, in Warcraft, you are actually able to sell digital assets to other people. Am I correct?
In World of Warcraft, I think it's like accounts and stuff, maybe.
So you can sell items in the game, but it's like in-game currency. So say you go and you beat a boss and you get like this really great weapon, but you already have it or you don't want it. There is a marketplace, but you don't sell it for like real world money. You sell it for in-game gold.
I mean, there are places where it is real money, like Counter-Strike's all their gun skins and stuff.
Yeah, like there's a place online, I'm sure there is. In-game, you can only use, they have a real marketplace, but it's all in-game gold.
Yeah,
because I remember this one Big Bang Theory episode where they were selling it's called the Sword of Azeroth. Sheldon was selling it, and he got the sword and then sold it online.
Yeah, so, I couldn't tell you. I've never really played WoW, so I don't really know.
Yeah, I will never.
There's definitely a way of doing that, because you would just basically make the deal on the website, and then you both log into the same server, do the trade, and you're done.
Yeah.
So like there's a website I used to use for trading Steam games when I ran into duplicates from Humble Bundles.
Oh yeah, I remember that one. You met someone from Germany from there, am I correct?
Yeah, Leonard. I still talk to him every other day or so.
Damn.
Like 8 years later.
But yeah, no, like going back to the loot box stuff, it's like, look, putting it on a label is very nice, but I think we all know that most parents don't pay attention to what the fuck's on the box. Yeah. So them changing the label ever so slightly doesn't really do anything. I think it has
I don't know. I know what you're saying, and I agree with it. I think it's more just like they're just covering their ass.
Well, that's what you said. At least they tried. No, they didn't try. They put zero effort in. They slapped 3 words on a label. Like, it's just them finally saying, "Okay, we're getting pressure. So we should do something so they can't just keep indicting us."
See, there is a reason behind that though, because I know with the company I used to work at, I was making a suggestion. They can't change anything on the front or anything that's about the actual product itself, where the rating is not about the product. It's about, that's a different asset on the actual label. So they're able to modify that. So
well, that's the thing. They can do whenever they want because they're the ones that control that.
Yeah.
So they could have done it years ago. And
fun fact, the original Mortal Kombat is the reason the ESRB exists.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, the thing is, too, the other part that I don't believe for any second that the ESRB actually gives two shits about this is because the ESRB and the ESA have people within their ranks that are high position ranking officers in various gaming companies like Take-Two Interactive.
What is ESA?
The ESA is basically like more of like, it's another branch of them. Like they handle it's the Electronic Software Association, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think that's what it stands for.
Like, basically, they're just, like, the big heads that decide a lot of the shit. ESRB is just limited to the ratings.
Okay.
But straight up, like, these companies that can regulate the gaming industry are also run by people in the gaming industry. So it's not a scenario where I believe at any second that the ESRB is going to step in and say, hey, like, loot boxes need to be M-rated mature games or up. Because, quite frankly, a loot box... I've seen people argue for and against it, but in my opinion, a loot box is gambling one way or another. You may get something in this, but you are still most likely getting nothing. Because when you get commons in a loot box...
It's like buying a lottery ticket, a scratch ticket.
No, it's buying a lottery ticket, but you're guaranteed to only get a penny. Like, that's what a loot box is. You are going to get something, but it might be a fucking penny. That might be literally all it is.
Just ridiculous.
It's like that classic thing you see in Japan where they have that rolling thing and it comes out with colored marbles, but almost always they come out as a white marble and you get a pocket tissue. Like they're not that big. Like you open a regular pack in a Madden game or NBA or MLB, most of the things you get are fucking useless. They're not worth anything.
I fucking hate sports games are just the fucking worst. I'm serious, man. Like, and shit like this just makes me dislike EA and sports games even more.
No, they don't have to go very hard to make people try to hate them. They're pretty good at it, actually.
I'm just waiting at this point for them to basically just integrate Proline or something directly into the game, so you actually just start gambling on games that aren't even real games. Like,
well, I'm pretty sure that's happening right now because a lot of leagues are doing e-tournaments with the athletes.
I mean, ones where you can like bet on it.
No, that's happening because like on the NBA, they're having players play against each other in NBA 2K.
Well, yeah, they need something.
And you can like,
and I'm pretty sure there's betting rings going on about that. I'm pretty sure there's
probably like ones that aren't probably not like actually like legit. It's probably just people throwing money on random sites.
Yeah. Jeez. Well, I'm just waiting until that's just incorporated just right into. Not only do you buy a loot box, but you can place a bet on what you're gonna get once you open it and get either better or worse odds or get more money or some crap. Yeah. You basically bet on your betting.
I mean,
this could ruin the sports gaming industry.
Ruin it now?
And
I think EA already did that.
But this could ruin EA, but this could help bring back real games like NBA Jam, NFL Blitz, and Blades of Steel. Actually, was there
as much as I would love to say that that's true, that won't happen. There's no market for them. There's no market.
Wait, there's NBA Playgrounds, and NBA Playgrounds is actually...
Yeah, that is fun.
Yeah, but who talks about it?
No one.
There's my point. Moving on. Story number 2. This actually just came up recently today. Sony is reportedly limiting their PS5 launch window to about 6 million units. So they
worldwide, or
that's what it looks like to be. It's hard to say specifically why. There isn't really a reason put to it. I mean, my money would be at this point that Sony's looking at the way that things are and being like, man, like our console's likely going to be around $500 American, which is about $700 to us. And in this pandemic, how are you going to be able to sell that many consoles right off the bat at holidays? Like, people are going to be scavenging for money. So
it's feeling like the PS3 launch now.
I mean, at the same time, like, they're probably just thinking about it, being like, man, we just need to like slowly roll this out because it's going to be a while before we really get our money in.
Well, you weren't planning to buy it right away, were
No,
you?
I wasn't going to touch it for 2 years anyway, so it doesn't make a difference. But I mean, there are obviously going to be people that are going to do it, but just those people are all of a sudden a little going to be less because $700 is going to be hard to come by, or $500 US is going to be hard to come by.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely.
And at the same time, it sounds like they might actually be making money on these consoles this time around. The rumor mill is saying that this console is costing them about $450 to make. So they may be selling
so
it
they'll
for
make, like, 40
$500,
bucks.
and they might make like $50 a sale. Which for a console would actually be surprising because more often than not you lose money on consoles. Not to mention,
Most
if you really
consoles
think about it,
lose.
if this console is as powerful as they say it is, for $450 to build that thing, that's astonishing. If that's actually true, to be able to build something of that caliber for only that much, that's really crazy.
Yeah, I'm wondering how consoles do it. Like I know their parts are custom, and
It could also be
obviously
like the
they're a
mass
little different.
production, and you're not
Yeah,
you're
it's
probably
got
the
to
one making it, so you're not buying it from somebody else, so there's not a lot of price changing hands.
because I know that for I think both Xbox and PS5, it's AMD that's making the graphics card, and I know that it's like this custom one specific for each of the systems. Um, so it's got to be something where they make a deal with them, like, listen, we're doing this into our console, and that's how much it's going to cost
Well,
you if you do this giant, thing. Because if you were to go and just buy the parts for the PC yourself, you would not be able to do it at that price.
Oh, for
it's
sure.
going to be difficult with it because, for example, they did a study that if iPads, when they first came out, if they were manufactured in North America, they would be around $10,000.
Wow, 10 grand.
So
Jeez.
who knows what the price would be for the PS5 if it was manufactured, or who knows right now where it's going to get manufactured? Because is it going to get manufactured in China right now? We don't know.
I have no idea, but I mean, to me, honestly, it doesn't really matter. It's just as long as the price is fair. Which, if that thing is as strong as it is, $700 Canadian is actually a fair price because that thing is probably more powerful than a lot of PCs for almost $1,000. So
Yeah, it equates to about like an $1,100 PC when I looked it up.
Well, for example, my Mac, I took out the DVD drive in it and replaced it with a SSD, and I probably expanded my Mac's lifespan before I want to replace it, before I need to replace it by about 5 years, because an SSD is like that.
well, and that's the
It's
hope too with their SSD is that thing is going to be just an absolute fucking powerhouse, and that thing will be able to last its entire generation.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
because an SSD drive is you're virtually using a USB stick. It's that fast.
Well, I mean, it's the idea that the hard drive, every time it spins a disk, it has to keep finding the same spot over and over again. If it's an SSD, it just takes what it needs and doesn't think about anything else. So
Yeah.
it's so much
giant
faster
SD
that way.
card.
Yeah.
A game like God of War would benefit so much from that. And
Well,
even on-
fuck. We even saw the screen or the reveal when Sony was doing their little shareholders thing where they showed how fast Spider-Man goes out of its loading screens, and it was like
well, it's
a second compared to 15.
when I was playing Jedi Fallen Order, there was times the game froze mid battle loading. Like it was
Yeah.
loading mid battle, and it's like,
Yeah, that
on.
won't happen on this new console.
yeah, which
Yeah. This is one reason I love when I built my PC, I made sure that I went with like an SSD drive, not even just for games, but like putting just, the operating system and stuff on there as the PlayStation will have. Because even just turning on the system or waking it up from being suspended, load times on games, opening games, installing games, everything is that much faster. It's ridiculous.
dude, my Mac when I first got it, I think it'd take about 2.5 minutes at least for it to load up. Now it's less than 30 seconds, which is in relative still a pretty long time, right? To today's standards, but to make the speed 1/20th of what it was,
Yeah.
it's awesome.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Okay.
SSD is going to be the future, man. I think hard drives are going to be extinct or going to be not popular very soon.
Oh yeah, I don't. I think this is it for them. I don't after this new console generation because it was like the last main things where hard drives were still like they came with the system.
Yeah.
I don't think anything will have hard drives. Most laptops don't have them anymore because
It has to
SSDs are
be
smaller.
it has to be at least a terabyte though, because I find I need the hard drive space. I need more than even the 500 gigs on my PS4. I don't think that's enough. I think it needs to be at least a terabyte.
I mean, if that's why you get another USB drive for it.
Yeah.
Fair enough, but it's just a convenience. Now we're in a.
Well, yeah, but when did this fucking console come out? Like, how long has this console been around for? Of course, it's not going to have a 2 gigabyte fucking hard drive.
I don't know. What I'm saying is that was then. This is now.
Yes.
Where now people are looking for more storage space. They're looking for more convenience.
I wouldn't even say they're not looking for convenience. Like, it's the fact that games are now 100 gigabytes a piece. Like, it's now, like, games used to be 10, 15, 20. Like, now they're, like, 5 times that. So it's not even a convenience thing.
Red Dead Redemption 2 came out, and there was a meme with saying, after deleting all my games so I can fit in Red Dead Redemption, and it was a picture of Harry Osborn from Spider-Man 2 saying, all I have left is Spider. And it's true. It's like you delete all your games eventually, and sometimes you want to keep a few games on just for shits and giggles, just for like something casual to play. But you eventually need to remove it so you can add in the new game.
Absolutely.
Okay, so moving on. Number 3, we got a little bit more information about Cyberpunk 2077. 2 major things. The first thing is that the game, according to CG Projekt Red, is basically as good as complete. So it sounds like they have no problem making the September deadline that they set now, since they jumped it away from, I think it was almost about to be coming out. Yeah, it was supposed to come out fucking today, I think, actually.
Would it be
I think it's supposed
a physical release, or would it be a digital release?
Both. I mean, assumingly both.
Yeah, it was originally supposed to be today, and it was supposed to be both.
And I mean, I would imagine that it shouldn't even be a problem physically, because I think by the time that we get to September, we should be able to start at least seeing these things shipped out no problem again. I mean, I got it through Amazon, so I know I'm good. I'm not gonna have to stand in line at an EB Games, so that's all that I care about. But
yeah, but EB Games won't be around in September.
We'll see. The other piece of news is that they talked about what DLC is going to be like. They said they will be revealing DLC before the game's released, and they said that they have zero plans to make it any less than what you would see in The Witcher 3. So that tells you that if you're going to get DLC, you're getting your fucking money's worth, like The Witcher 3 did. Obviously, Chris, you have better experience with it because you played, what is it, Blood and... What's the fucking thing called?
No, I haven't actually played any of the DLC yet.
What about the loot crates?
There's no loot crates. CD Projekt Red aren't douchebags.
Their DLC is very much like what computer games were in the 90s, where you had this.
They're not you know what? It's not even right to call them DLCs. They're expansion packs.
Yeah, they're an expansion pass. Yeah, so it you know, you get you had a 60-hour game on PC, and they come out with a pass that's half price, and it's an extension of your game, and it adds another 30 hours. So it's like another half game, and it's half the price, and you add it on. Yeah, and that's what they did with Witcher, which, I mean, you go from already like 120 hours to, I don't know, 180. I don't know. I don't want to think about it.
As long as one of the DLCs is you getting to play as Keanu Reeves, I'm good.
Yep. Oh, that has to be one.
So
Cyberpunk 2077, John Wick.
I would buy that now.
So what you're saying is the game is going to be breathtaking.
Yes. Yeah, by the first trailer, it already looked breathtaking, so I'm assuming it's going to be.
No, you're breathtaking. Not really, but still.
You couldn't help it.
Too late. You already said it.
Damn it.
Anyway, next up, number 4, there are a couple games that are getting remakes or remasters, depending on how you look at it. The first being what we talked about before the podcast even started. We were talking about Crysis. Crysis is indeed getting remastered, available for PC, PS4, Xbox One, and even Nintendo Switch. So a lot of Switches might be breaking.
Yeah, but will it run Crysis?
There's been some fun memes for it. Like there was one being like Crysis remastered, and then all of a sudden it just shows PS4 Pro, and it's just like showing like an airplane fan on fire.
Yep. Oh, I gotta see that one.
That's a weird one because I look at Crysis, like personally for me playing 1 and 2, I never played 3. Crysis is one of those weird ones where I don't know if they're actually games that are good games or if they're just really processing power games that people just benchmark their PCs on. Because I've played both 1 and 2. I don't know what's so big about these things. Like, they're okay,
Yeah.
but I don't see the big fuss about it. I think it's more because those
They're
games.
first-person shooters, am I correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, the big selling point for Crysis was always its graphic power, because they were usually, when they came out, the best game on the market in terms of quality.
People said that about Killzone as well.
Yeah, but
Killzone when it first came out on the
Killzone doesn't make any
PS1.
sense because it was console. Like, we're talking PC, so we're talking full power.
Yeah. I played Crysis 1, but by the time I played it, it came out in 2007 and I played it in 2013 or 2014. So by the time I looked at it, I was like, I
It
don't
was
get it.
dated.
Yeah, I thought it was a normal, nice looking first person shooter.
Well, yeah, but
But
if it looks normal, that was 7 years ago. That's actually pretty good.
Yeah, that to be fair, yeah, that is very true. I own the second one. I just haven't played it yet. Again, it was a humble bundle. The
The bane of your existence.
bane of my existence.
I
But
find it's the only ones that really truly look timeless are the PlayStation N64 generation games, because those are legit timeless and don't look dated. Because
And there goes the bingo card
they
again.
need to.
I mean,
Otherwise,
there's definitely a lot of games now that'll be timeless, but they're like Cuphead, but that's because it has a retro feel.
that's not
Yeah.
fair. That's not fair.
Yeah,
That's cheating.
Cuphead's just beautiful.
Otherwise, there is one other
First
remake that I'm
person.
sure you guys are looking a lot more forward to, and that being a Resident Evil 4 remake, which has been rumored now.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like it was it's let's just quote a really cool dude. I am inevitable. It
And
was gonna happen.
I
Resident
genuinely thought they were going to stop after 3 or maybe do like some other older ones or some side ones. I was not expecting 4.
No,
I don't
knew
think
it
they
was gonna
want to touch
happen.
the side ones, to be honest. I think they don't care enough.
Yeah, I
No,
don't
they're
think they need
not. They're just not that great at all.
I
to.
mean,
The Revelation
that's
games, no?
They're not that great.
they're fine.
They're
Like, from what I've understood, they're
very
fine.
basic.
You're
They're
basic.
very basic Resident Evil. You're basic.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I'm pretty basic. I'll just throw that out there. I don't care.
It's the Resident Evil 4 is a it's another game I would give legendary status to.
Oh
it
yeah,
was-
that's some say that it's like the best Resident Evil almost.
It is. It's
Oh. Even better than 2?
well, for me now
We're
the
talking
number
2 remake, by the way, because the original 2
Yeah.
would not stand the test of time at all.
No. For its time, number 2 was amazing, and it was still. When you go back to it, it's still amazing, and I would borderline give it legendary status. But Resident Evil 4 really changed the franchise completely.
Yeah, it
So-
made it a lot more actiony
A lot more actiony, a lot more fast paced.
and made you hate
wasn't like-
chainsaws.
Oh god, that guy was a fucking bastard.
Yeah, that guy, the first time he showed up when I was playing, and I was playing on Wii, and I was already afraid of the stupid game, and I sucked at motion controls.
Really? Because
The
I
first time that guy
love the
showed
Wii
up-
version because you can actually fucking aim properly.
Yeah, no, I didn't aim worth
Well,
shit.
it's gonna. I really prefer like the number 2 remake now is the best of the Resident Evil franchise because frankly, it was a brand new game inserted into the series now. It wasn't just like, oh, let's remake this, let's make it look pretty. It's like, no, let's do this from completely blank slate.
That's what a
onward.
remake is.
Yeah, that's what a remake is.
But they did the same for Resident Evil 3 and apparently wasn't as great. But
It's still a remake.
Well, like remake wise, it's still amazing. It's more that I think it was more story wise.
I can tell you, and again, from reviews,
exploration wise.
I can tell you exactly what people's problems is. We're accustomed to 15-hour games. They didn't like the fact that it was
Yeah.
under 10.
Yeah, it is a shorter game.
I've seen what people
They
say
didn't
about it.
expand
I don't
any
believe
extra.
for a second they actually hate it. I think they just got upset because they think they paid a little bit too much for a game that only gave them about 6 to 8 hours. To which, by
Yeah.
the way, that's what we used to do.
That is the games we used to play. And I think the original Resident Evil used to take longer because it was those fucking tank controls, which good fucking luck fighting Nemesis on fucking tank controls.
It's like the same people who say that Resident Evil 3 is a great game are now saying this one is a disappointment. It's fucking better. I
Yeah.
played the demo and I'm like, holy shit, I like a Resident Evil game because I've played the original and it's a fucking struggle.
Yeah. And it's the same remake as 2 because it's the same engine, which I think they actually created for Devil May Cry or something. They took the Devil May Cry engine.
It's just
Either way, they
it's just one of
they
those
took Resident
frustrating
Evil
things,
2 and
right?
changed it.
It's just
Yeah.
so silly. Like when people like, I can understand if people are saying, "Oh, the controls are jank," or "It's buggy," or "Nemesis is actually not threatening at all," or what. And it's like, no, most of the complaints I've seen are like it's short and it's a little linear. I'm like, guys, like, come on.
Okay, the linear thing I have absolutely no problem with.
It's like,
I'm
guys,
totally fine with the linear part.
it again, it's like that old thing I used to say to Kotaku all the time when they kept talking about like, oh, the character is a male or whatever else. My always question is it fun? That's my question, and most
That's
people
what
that I've
matters.
seen talk about it say it's fun. So there
Resident
you
Evil
go.
3? Oh yeah. That's everybody said it's amazing, it looks amazing, it sounds amazing, it plays amazing. It's just
But it's like
short.
Chris said, I really do want them to make a Resident Evil 1 remake.
Yeah. Because they could make
Because
that because that one was different. It was like you were stuck in this house and it was like a way more horror than action. They could make that like a really scary horror game, but with this,
If they were to do
this-
that, I would rather they do it like what Resident Evil 7 was, though, because if it's going to be full horror, doing it in the same action style as the last two remakes would make no sense.
so this is my thing. I think Resident Evil works perfectly fine. Third person over the shoulder.
Have you
I'm
played
not a
7?
fan. Pardon?
Have you played 7? Because I haven't heard you ever talk about it.
No, but the thing is, I'm not a big fan of first person shooters. And the fact is that Resident Evil has always been third person, has always been over the shoulder. And I don't think they need to change it.
Yeah, but you're
into
you're
a-
also commenting about something you've never played, and not to mention Resident Evil 7 isn't really a shooter when you really think about it.
Yeah, no, it's not a first person shooter.
It's a
pretty much
horror
at
game
all.
that just happens to have guns once in a while.
Yeah, you don't always have a gun and you can't even. It's like an emergency thing. It's more like a survival horror, I'd say, first person survival horror.
Just don't play it in
From
VR.
what I'm not doing that.
Oh, good God, no. That just sounds like a horrible idea.
No, fuck that idea. Fuck you, Adam.
And I mean, like, from what I've seen from all the reviews for 7, it seemed like it was a great horror game. I think people were really happy with it because it was Resident Evil going back to its horror roots. I think it's great to have both ideas. It's just like Chris saying, if they're going to remake 1 and it's something more like a survival thing because you're stuck in a house, the game never seemed to be an action game, so it would make more sense to keep it in the Resident Evil 7 version of it because it would be a lot more frantic.
Did you ever play the OG Resident Evil?
I've tried to. The controls are fucking terrible, so it was hard.
So here's the thing. With the game, it actually is a good balance of action and horror. Even when I say most horror movies I find nowadays, a lot of them end up for some reason being action movies. Like Freddy versus, I'm using a terrible example, Freddy versus Jason. I thought it was more of an action movie where you have two people trying to, two supernatural beings trying to kill each other. It didn't feel like a horror movie at all. The entire
Especially
time.
since they're not even trying to kill people; they're killing each other.
Yeah, so just I was like,
I don't know, man. Like,
this doesn't.
a horror game is not really all that scary if you can kill things really easy. It's the one thing with Resident Evil that I've always been a little bit concerned about. Like, they call it a horror game, but if you have guns capable of doing the thing, how scary is it? Like, as someone who gets scared easy, I played through the demo for the remake for Resident Evil 3, and I'm like, how is this scary? Like, I'm more scared of the fact that I might die because it takes 5 bullets.
Resident Evil 1 was more of a survival horror, but after that, they turned it into more of an apocalyptic action series.
Then take the horror label off.
Fair enough. Like Silent Hill.
It still has jump scares.
Silent
not
Hill,
horror.
That's survival horror.
Jump scare, survival horror, action. There we go.
No, I'm talking about Silent Hill.
Oh, sorry. I was talking
That
about.
Oh,
is
Silent
true
Hill fucks you
survival
up.
Horror.
Because Silent Hill, you're not
That
supposed to
is-
be able to beat anything. Silent Hill, you're supposed to run the fuck away from shit.
Yeah, Silent Hill,
Fucking
you're not supposed
triangle
to
fucking head.
play once it goes dark.
No, I did that once, twice.
Yes, I played it with the locker scene at 1 a.m, sitting on my own at 18 years old.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I couldn't breathe for a few minutes.
Yeah, no. That locker scene just.
And then the phone scene, it's like the phone is disconnected. You walk out, ring, ring, ring. I was like, that phone's fucking disconnected. There's not any touch or anything.
Yep. They should remake that game.
It's ugh.
First person.
If they, oh good God, nope, I'm out. Adam, I think you'll agree with that one.
VR. First person VR Silent Hill remake.
I mean, I'm not gonna play it, but I'm sure horror fans are gonna fucking love it.
Oh, people would love it. Yeah. Oh, Kojima could be signed on. That'd be great.
Yeah, get good luck with that. Getting Konami to do anything interesting right now is just like pulling teeth.
Yeah.
So that's it for major stories. We're gonna bounce into a couple quick things and then probably get out of here. So I'm gonna start talking with the interesting releases, I should say, that are coming out in each week. So I'm just using Metacritic for this because like delving into PC lists would be impossible because PC lists on average are like fucking 50 games in a span of 7 days. So it's like I don't want to do that.
Good luck with that.
So I'm using Metacritic with their own version of what's big, and I've looked through all the lists myself beforehand. This is probably the big thing. There's 4 like I guess kind of interesting releases. So on the 23rd, the first one, you guys will not have heard of this. This is called Code Realize Future Blessings, which is a very popular anime that's getting turned into a visual novel for Switch. I think they're already on PS4 and maybe other places.
Cool.
But that's something that people are interested in.
Can I just mention one thing?
Sure, if you're going to break my fucking bit here.
Actually, you know what? No, I'll mention it after, just because this reminded me of that.
Go ahead, because now I'm already thrown off now. I don't even know what the hell we're getting into here.
Okay, so I just wanted to mention, if anyone's bored right now, Comixology is giving away 12 free Marvel graphic novels right now.
Okay, you're right. That was really random to go off into.
No, because you're talking about visual novels, so it just brought me onto that. So that's why
I see the connection.
So I just wanted to mention, if anyone's bored and just wants something, they're legit free, and you just connect them to your Amazon account.
Also, come on, guys. It's only been a month of quarantine. You're not bored. You just don't want to do certain things.
True.
We did a 2-hour fucking podcast on COVID the other day, and I said the same damn thing. People are not fucking bored. They just don't like what's in front of them. If I can look at my backlog, believe me, there are a lot of games I haven't finished that I haven't played just because I don't want to, but it's not that I'm bored. That's bullshit. You can't be bored in 2020 with the internet. It's impossible. But
good point.
Otherwise, 3 other things on this list. MotoGP 20, so for all those racing nerds who love their motorbikes, that is coming out on the 23rd for PS4, Xbox One, PC. What are these other 2 symbols?
Which game is that? Sorry?
MotoGP 20.
Oh, okay.
It's like a motorcycle racing game, right?
Okay,
Yes.
okay. I haven't heard of this one.
Nintendo Switch is as well. What's this fucking thing? Google Stadia. That's why I didn't know what the fuck it was. I'm like, what the hell is GS? Oh, that thing no one actually uses. Okay.
Have you guys played any motorcycle racing games besides Road Rash?
Yeah, I've played a MotoGP game before. It's just any other racing game. It's like very much like playing a Formula 1 game or whatever else, or like Gran Turismo.
I haven't played that. I played Trials, which is like more a side-scrolling.
Yeah.
Can you fall and like throw yourself off track or injure yourself to a point you can't continue the race in them?
I mean, I wouldn't try. That would defeat the purpose of the game.
No, I'm just curious.
I don't remember. It's been so long.
Oh, okay.
I probably, but I mean, I couldn't fucking tell you. Let's see here. And the other 2 are a little bit more interesting. Trials of Mana, which is a remake of an old game in the Mana series. It was a sequel to Secret of Mana. It was never released in North America. It was called Seiken Densetsu 3. I've played it through emulators, which was fun. I also played it for the demo reel.
Come out for?
Oh, this is Super Nintendo. Way back.
Yeah, the original Super Nintendo.
I played the demo of this game. I'll get into that probably next week because I'll probably release that demo reel video by then. But just to sum it up, it's fine. It's fine. So that'll be out on the 24th. It's out for PS4, Switch, and PC. And then last but not least, the actual really interesting one, which is coming out on the 24th as well. Predator Hunting Grounds for the PS4 and PC.
I'm actually looking forward to that one, but I know it's a online co-op game. Am
Well,
I
it's
correct?
it's the idea that one person's the predator and everybody else are soldiers trying to kill the predator.
Yeah, it's like a purely online game.
Which to me, I would rather than an AI, because as soon as you can figure out the AI, it's over. The game's done.
Yeah.
So the idea that it's always going to be unpredictable, because you might get some shithead who doesn't know what he's doing with the predator, so it ends up being funny. Like, have either of you guys played it? Well, I don't think Vish would have, but Chris, have you ever played Dead by Daylight?
I haven't played it, but I've
heard of
watched
it.
a lot of it on Twitch.
That is a game that is fucking fun to play, especially with friends, because it's if you're the monster, you can torture motherfuckers with this.
Yeah.
Can you what's it called? Can you describe a little bit of it? Like what?
So Dead by Daylight basically, and it's got so many different monsters now. Some of them branded, like they've had Stranger Things has been in there. Evil Dead, I believe, put something in there. What else?
Jason?
I know Saw. Yeah, Jason was done in there, I believe. There's a couple more that I'm blanking on, but they've been doing a lot of stuff. So the gist of it is that as many as 4 people are survivors, and then there's one monster. The idea is that there are 5 generators in this map, and you have to turn all of them on in order to open or to get to the door that you need to open to escape. And in that time, this monster can knock you down and carry you and put you on, I guess, like a hook, almost like it's fucking like it's Home Alone, like you get put on the fucking door. And if nobody rescues you in time, you're permanently killed, and that's it. So it ends up.
So can you be resurrected or can you be revived?
Once you're dead, you're dead. But if you're put on the hook, you can be saved.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because when you're on the hook, there's a little bit of a time limit before this demon spider thing comes down from the sky.
Yeah.
And just devours you.
So it's basically like you have to turn on
awesome.
5 generators and escape before whatever the monster is that round kills you. And it's fucking crazy because there's, especially once you get into the idea of like certain perks too, where you can kind of hear the footsteps, because the monster can track you if you run really fast. It'll track where you've been going. You have to like crouch walk to not show your footsteps, and if you also been hit once, you start bleeding, so you show a trail as well. So there's a lot of little things to it that just make it so intense at times. And I've played that game with my friends a few times. It's fucking terrifying and fun at the same time. So Predator, I imagine, is going to be very similar to that.
No, it sounds like, yeah, because when you think of like 80s actions, that's one of the ones that pops up in your head right away.
Well, and it's also the perfect game, or the perfect franchise to put into a game like a Dead by Daylight style game, because the Predator has the invisibility and all the various weapons that he can use. So it's a match made in heaven.
Originally it wasn't even supposed to be Predator. It was some other franchise that they were making it for, but they lost the rights to it and ended up picking up the Predator rights for pretty cheap, apparently, because the last Predator movie did not do well.
Yeah.
So they got the rights for it and just quickly changed around. Like, it was the same idea, like a monster-based movie or franchise, whatever it was. But they switched over to Predator, and now they're like, oh, wow, this is actually a lot better than our original idea.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's at least some stuff to look for. The lists, I've been paying attention to what the lists are. There's actually some decent stuff coming for a while, so it's not going to be completely dead. It's not like we're going to, in a couple of weeks, we're going to have the coming soon list, and it's going to be like nothing.
You know what we should do?
Coming soon list is not going to be in existence for a few months.
Yeah. Thankfully, it's still okay for a while.
I'm just curious. Like, what's a game that you guys would give legendary status to?
Jeez, you know what? Let's finish the show with that, because we still got to do the This Week in Gaming. What were you going to say before I switch, though, Chris?
I was just going to say what we should do for this list is just go on Steam and look at the Coming Soon tab and just read off every single
That would
game.
be the whole podcast. Again, it's why I'm not reading off the PC list, because it would take forever.
I love it.
So This Week in Gaming is relatively short. There are actually only 9 things on this list. So this 7-day stretch didn't really yield too much, at least in terms of original releases. There's a lot of American releases, but like I said, I'm doing first releases, period. So it's not, oh, it's the port of this, or it's the American release. No, this is straight up the first time the game came out. So starting with the 10th of April in 2003, the final of 4 games in the .hack franchise came out in Japan. .hack Quarantine. I played the original and part of the second game. Chris, did you ever hear these? Because this is a JRPG, so Vish is way out on this one.
I heard a lot about them. I saw them all the time at EB when I'd go, but I never played them.
I've heard about the anime. I've never seen anything about the game
I mean,
at all,
Dot Hack is
ever.
interesting in itself because it's like playing yourself playing a video game. Because basically, you're playing a character playing an MMO game. So it's interesting in that kind of style. And they're like basic JRPGs, but man, I could not imagine playing those games 4 times. So like my buddy has all 4 of them, and that series is also synonymous with being expensive because I think the average price for this specific game, which is the last one, is like $250 because they weren't printed very much. Because by the time the 4th game came around, not as many people were playing the series. Like you can get the first 2 ones pretty easy, and then after that, it's not. They're so rare. I mean, they're okay, but if I was gonna play a game, about playing in an MMORPG, I would play Phantasy Star Online, which I forgot. PSO2 launched today and will be on PC in May, which I might actually play. It might be the first MMORPG I play.
I might try it
because I love the original on Xbox.
I never played any of them actually.
I mean, like, and also it's Phantasy Star, so the name itself already gets my attention.
Yeah, that's why I want to try it.
Moving on though, 2008, the first ever release of Mario Kart Wii, which obviously had the wheels, which I never played with controllers. I refused to play with a controller because the wheel was so fucking cool to me.
Yeah, me too.
So you never played with the classic controller? You only played with the
Well, I never had a GameCube controller, and the classic controllers for Wii were shit. So playing with the Wiimote and the wheel was great.
Liked the classic controller.
I did not like that thing. That was uncomfortable for me.
Oh, I loved it. It was like a Super Nintendo with joysticks on it.
Yeah. That was like the Mario Kart that really made me truly love Mario Kart.
Yeah, definitely started to up its game.
Yeah, I was already like well into Mario Kart, but I hadn't been for a bit because I used to be super into Mario Kart 64. Then after that, I didn't even have a GameCube until much later and didn't really care about it. So when it came back on Wii, it was like, all right, we're going back into Mario Kart.
Okay, so I don't know about this. So I find that GameCube, the quality of games, like the good games were good, but I found it was the weakest of all the Nintendo systems.
I would disagree.
It was weakest.
Only because the Wii U was just such a failure.
The Wii U, it was such a failure, but like shit, like Mario 3D World and Smash Brothers and Mario Kart were amazing on it.
Yeah, but
Smash
that
Brothers
was it.
on GameCube was just an improvement upon Smash Bros. On the N64.
Dude, you're gonna get Melee fans to kick your ass.
Oh, let them try. And I thought Mario Kart was the absolute weakest on the GameCube.
I actually think Double Dash is one of the better ones. It's underrated because it actually has a really interesting mechanic to it.
I wasn't a fan of it.
Well, that's because you don't like nice things.
No, I do like nice things, very much so.
Yeah, no.
I know that you have a sore spot for fucking GameCube though, because you think that they have the weakest ones. You hate Double Dash, you hate Sunshine, you hate Wind Waker. So no shit, you think GameCube's fucking weak.
Wind Waker is was such. I don't know.
Nope. You're being totally biased because you don't like any of the games on it. If you want my honest opinion, as somebody who didn't own the GameCube but played it through friends, I think it was a fine console. To say that it's the weaker one, I mean, I guess you could only because, I mean, fucking other, like, what else is it competing with? Like, there's not really a lot of bad consoles for Nintendo.
Yeah. If I had to pick the one I'd get rid of, I would choose a GameCube way before I would choose a Wii.
Well, I mean, the Wii I would go with. I would honestly drop the Wii U just because it was a waste. It was a waste of time, and I know that it was a waste of time because the
idea was great.
No, it wasn't. I knew right away it was going to fail. A tablet, really? Who the fuck needs that? That's what tablets are for. Like, it was so bad.
I think the Wii U could have been great if they just made better games and more games.
Well, that was the other part of it too. I think. Well, the Wii U would have been great if they didn't fucking change the controller.
Nintendo has an issue with being behind the technology because when the Wii came out, the best you could get on it was composite component video output.
Yeah, and
It didn't have HDMI, and that is a huge problem.
yeah, but you have to remember too that Nintendo has never been about graphic quality. Like, and we know this because the Switch is still not even more powerful than the PS4 at launch.
Yeah.
Like Breath of the Wild is an 11 gig game. Think of that.
Nintendo does not give a shit about graphics. They would rather make a fun game than anything else. And as much as I hate Nintendo, I give them props for that stuff. I give them props. I mean, but the Wii U is such a bad console, and it was so bad that the CEO of Nintendo cut his salary in half instead of blaming his work staff. Because he knew it failed.
I admire him for that.
Rest in peace, Satoru Iwata. Rest in fucking peace. Guy was a goddamn legend. But to finish off the 10th here, since we dragged on that a little bit, Skullgirls. I don't know if you guys have heard of that game. It's also a fighting game.
I've never heard of that one.
Fighting game.
That one's it's a pretty cheap, good fighting game too. Like it's very similar to like almost like a Cuphead level kind of graphic fidelity in terms of the way that it's drawn.
It gives me like old school Marvel versus Capcom feels with like the cartoony drawing.
Well, yeah, because it also has like the ability to have like three character teams.
Yeah.
And just the art style is what sells it on that game. Like it's fucking great. That's one of those games too that's very underrated, just because I think a lot of people never heard of it.
What kind of art style is it? Like Toon Shader?
Oh, absolutely! It's totally like 80s, like cartoony looking.
Sorry, can you say the title again?
Skullgirls.
Skullgirls. Okay.
I'll move on in the meantime. April the 12th, there was nothing on the 11th worth talking about.
I like that style.
Yeah, I know, right? April the 12th, speaking of ridiculously fun games, in 2004, Painkiller came out, which is in that age of like great first-person shooters that were just about going nuts and just killing everything, like your Dooms and your Serious Sams and all those kind of games. Painkiller is also ridiculous with its guns. I've said it probably on the podcast several times as well. That's probably my own like bingo card spot. But Painkiller has a gun that shoots. Is it a
first-person shooter?
I literally just said it was.
Okay. No, I was searching for it, so I apologize.
But like I said, I've probably said this several times on the podcast before. There is literally a gun in that game that shoots shurikens and lightning.
That's amazing.
Cool.
Or as
Yahtzee
Ben Croshaw said on the Zero Punctuation series when he used to do that for the Escapists. I think he still actually does now that I think about it. He said, yeah, I'm not kidding. There's a gun that shoots shurikens and lightning. The only thing that could have been better if the gun had tits and was on fire. But yeah, that game, and it's an old school game, and I could still play that game because it's just stupid fun. Like, it's just killing everything. Next up, in the following year, 2005, the last game BioWare made before Mass Effect, and things went crazy until the very end when they fucked it up. Jade Empire, if you guys have ever heard of that one on the Xbox.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. That was one of the original games on the PS3, am I correct?
No, I don't think that was ever on PS3. I think it was only Xbox. I don't think it was. I think it was original Xbox, if I'm not mistaken. Was that Xbox or Xbox 360? I need to look that up just to be sure.
It was original Xbox.
Was it?
I had it on
original Xbox, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah. And I have it on Steam.
Yes, okay. Okay, so there's a game I'm thinking of on the PS3. It was a girl with a double-edged sword.
You're thinking like Heavenly Sword?
Oh, probably Heavenly Sword, yeah. Or maybe. No, maybe it could be either that or it could be Enslaved Odyssey to the West. No, that wasn't that.
That's definitely not it.
But yeah.
Red hair? You're thinking Heavenly Sword, I think.
Yep, Heavenly Sword.
Speaking of games that were really short, Heavenly Sword was like 4 hours. That thing was fucking short. Next up,
I heard it was fun, but it was very overrated.
It was an early PS3 game. Like most games at the first few years of a launch, if it's built specifically for that console, they're still figuring the console out.
True.
Last thing on this specific day in 2016, the remake of Ratchet and Clank, bringing that game back for PS4.
Have you guys? I've never played any of that, but they look fun.
If you ever see it for a good price, get the one that's on PS4 now because it's pretty good. It's pretty chill, like just old school arcade 3D platformer.
They don't make those enough anymore.
No, they don't. I mean, it's basically like. I mean, it was rebooting Crash Bandicoot before Crash Bandicoot got rebooted. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
13th of
Was it
April.
as rage-inducing?
No, not by a long shot. Ratchet and Clank is much more chill. Back to the April 13th. Only 2 games on this list. 2012. This one has notoriety for several reasons, but Fez first came out in 2012, which was
First game I played through and beat on my PC when I built it.
which a very, very notable indie game, and then also is very notable because its fucking developer is a giant colossal asshole.
Yeah.
Why? What's wrong with him?
Phil Fish is, I mean, quite frankly, he was in the midst of building Fez 2, and people loved the first game. Like, he acts like fans don't like his shit, and it's like, no, people legit adored that game. But because fans would, I guess, bug him on Twitter, he finally just got fed up and said, you know what, fine, fuck you guys, I'm not making this game anymore. And just quit.
Wow, that is a dick move and
He-
a half.
And he made a lot of money off that first.
And there's also a lot of stories about how like sketchy he was around people, so it just seemed like he was a bit of a dirtbag altogether. And it just didn't help that he was a very, very big butthurt bitch. So it didn't help on that front. The only
He
other
was one of the.
sorry, finish up.
I was just gonna say, there's that movie on Netflix.
Oh, the
indie
documentary,
movie.
right?
Yeah, indie movie. I think it's
Yeah.
called.
It's like I think it was like
It's
indie game or
3
something like
games
that.
are focused. Yeah, I think it's Indie Game the movie. There we go.
Because I know Fez
Um,
was one of them. I think Super Meat Boy was one of them.
And Braid.
Thank you. That was the last. I was trying to figure. Which, ironically, 2 out of 3 of those games have douchebags running them because Jonathan Blow is also a fucking douche.
Yes, he also.
Okay. I have no idea who any of these guys are, so unfortunately I don't have an opinion. But
It's
they sound
it's
douchey
okay.
from what you
You're
described.
you're a resident casual guy. So.
Look up Fez. It's a game you'd like.
Oh, Fez is legit
Wait,
fun.
Yeah,
FEZ.
Yeah,
yeah. And I have it on Steam, so you can get it pretty easily.
yeah. And the last game on the 13th in 2015, the first release of Mortal Kombat X,
Oh, okay.
which I actually hold a real soft spot for because I love the fact that after rebooting the series, that I decided to be like, all right, we're going to take this in a different direction. They still continued a bit of the Mortal Kombat 4 storyline, but they completely changed it up a bit, and I loved it.
So with the with that one, because I don't know, maybe because it was the one before was such a great game.
Well, it wasn't going to top it. There was no way.
Yeah. But that one I thought was still a great game, but it wasn't as great as the previous one.
If it's a great game, it's still a great game.
Yeah. I've always liked Mortal Kombat. I've always thought the series was great. I always thought I love the gameplay of it. Especially when number 3 came along and introduced the combos, whereas like it became more strategic. And then when this one came, when they started doing it where the graphics were so much better and they actually brought substance to the game. It's not like fight this guy and that's it and there's an ending. No, they actually brought real substance and characters to the game.
Yeah. But yeah, no, Mortal Kombat
I
X, I really like just because as soon as I saw Devora, the fucking bug girl, I'm like, I am so down. That looks fucking
I knew you would.
sick.
I knew when I saw her, I'm like, Adam would fucking love this chick.
Well, dude, they're all fucking. Aaron Black is fucking cool. It's like fucking Red Dead Redemption in Mortal Kombat.
I'm not a big fan of him.
And why is that?
I think he's too grounded. He's not ridiculous enough.
For Mortal Kombat, that makes sense.
Sonya Blade exists.
No, but a lot of
Sonya
the
Blade
characters
is the
in
most
Mortal
normal.
Kombat-
She just is a girl that
Who?
kicks thing. Sonya. What does she do?
Well, now that they actually added in realism into Mortal Kombat for some fucked up reason, Sonya's ring blasts are now wrist blasters.
yeah, they gave her
So
tech.
it's like, pardon?
They gave her tech. So what?
Oh, okay, I didn't hear you. Sorry. Yeah, they gave her tech. But for some reason, Johnny Cage's shadow kick is still just him doing his shadow kick.
But
I
yeah,
love
And
that.
yeah, no, like I said, the one before was so fucking incredible, and this one is still fun as shit. But I thought it was a little bit of a letdown. But maybe it was like the whole thing with Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises syndrome.
okay. I'm gonna take a little bit of umbrage of that. Was it actually a letdown, or was it just not as good? because those are two completely different things.
Fair enough. It was not as good.
Because the letdown is actually being disappointed. I was not, like, I can admit that Mortal Kombat X is not as good as 9. It's just not a letdown.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. It was not as good.
And then you'll be happy about this. Oh, sorry. Finish up, Chris. I didn't catch you there.
I was just saying
He
I
hasn't
still have
played
to buy.
either.
I haven't played either, and I still have to buy them both.
Yeah. But otherwise, the last thing on our list for this one, this goes all the way to the 16th, to the 14th and 15th, you'll get nothing. Vish, you'll love this. Injustice, the original one, came out in 2013 on just today.
Oh my god.
So today, technically, is the 7-year anniversary of Injustice.
Wow, you know what? This week is a lot of Mortal Kombat based shit for me then.
Yeah.
So Injustice, I was worried about it because a game on the PS3 which shall not be named Mortal Kombat versus DC.
So wait, it shall not be named and proceeds to name it.
Yes. It was
Voldemort.
horrendous.
Voldemort. See what
Yes,
I just did?
So Voldemort involving DC and Mortal Kombat characters came out and it was horrendous. It not even just for first generation PS3, but in general, the visuals were horrendous.
You don't even have to say anything. All you have to do is say this. It isn't even violent.
They didn't have fatalities.
No, not even that. It's not even violent.
Yeah.
It's like people playing with
So-
toys.
Yeah. So I was like, it was basically Mortal Kombat with DC characters without the graphic violence. And I was concerned, but my concerns were gone almost immediately because the story mode was actually quite involved and deep and had very good substance to it. The fatalities, there was no fatalities or heroic brutalities what Voldemort had, which were ridiculous, but they didn't need them. It was great character interaction because each character had their own unique dialogue with each opposing character.
I mean, they also had like a lot more years behind them, so they could have done a little bit more, but yeah.
Yeah. So it was a very good game. It was really like it brought this really cool and a while ago on the PlayStation Plus when they have those free games per month. They had the Injustice Complete Edition, like the Ultimate Edition of it, and they brought in a very cool mode where it was random character mode. So you could play through the entire arcade mode, but each fight you play as a different character.
Yeah.
And that I thought was really cool because sometimes you get bored of playing the same character each time because you see the same fatality 5 times. It's like something new.
Unless you're a pro player, in which case you only play one character.
Oh yeah, I know one dude. He's one of the top at the time, at least. He was one of the top virtual fighters. He was, if not in the country, he was one of the top in the country, and he had to continue playing as his one character because he was going into national tournament or international tournaments playing it or her.
So anyways, we're running low on time here, so I guess the little thing that you brought up earlier on just a legendary game. So I think you've already said several. So me and Chris, like, let's just pick like the one.
I'm just gonna mention a list that I've created because I just want to do this for myself. Super Mario 3, Ocarina of Time,
Jesus
Metal Gear
Christ.
5, Resident Evil 4, Street Fighter 2, Arkham Asylum, Super Metroid, and Mortal Kombat. What is a game that's not on that list that you guys would consider legendary status?
Well, just because I'm mad at you for going on a massive list, I'm gonna piss you off, even though this is true. But I'm just gonna pull out one that's gonna make you upset. Chrono fucking Cross.
Yep.
Chrono Cross
Yes.
or Chrono Trigger?
No, Chrono Cross. Fuck you. It's a good
Oh.
game.
Both. Both would definitely be in the legendary status, I'd
See,
say.
the thing is, I've never played either. I've never played Chrono Trigger, so I wouldn't be able to add that to my addition to it. But
If
I
you
can.
can get over the Super Nintendo graphics, which I don't think you'd have a trouble doing, you
Not
could
at all.
play it now and I mean you get through it in like 25 hours, so it's not like you'd have to worry about it being like 80 hours
Yeah,
unless you
no,
want to
I
do all the
would.
extra.
I'd probably be okay with it.
You should
But
give
what
it a
is
try.
that? Actually, guys, what would be 2 that you would give legendary?
Okay,
tags to?
are we just gonna go to 3 and then maybe 4? Like, what the fuck are we doing?
Okay, we'll stop. Okay, you know what? Let's stop at 3 games that you give
No,
legendary
you
status
don't
to.
get. We're not changing the rules.
Just 3.
Well, Chrono Cross is one. Final Fantasy VI is another one that immediately comes to mind, and then Mass Effect 2. If we're going something a little bit more 3D.
Fair enough. Chris,
If I
what
could
would
have-
you give
If I have
legendary
to go with
status to?
3, I'd go with Ocarina of Time, Chrono Trigger, and probably Mario RPG, Super Mario RPG.
Yeah.
I've never played that one. It looked that was like the first time I saw a video game, and I was like, "Hey, graphics are getting really good now."
Yeah, especially
That
for
was like
Mario
the
games.
first time, though.
Yeah,
Like, don't get me wrong. There's been more, but that was like the first time. It's like, hey, graphics are starting to become a good thing.
yeah. I'd throw Fantasy
'Cause
Star.
it was
4
like-
in there.
Oh, I'm gonna throw one more into this list.
Like, go ahead.
Madden.
Which one? Or all?
How was I not expecting that?
Just Madden.
Because I'm usually the shit disturber, not Adam.
Yeah, you are.
Would you give Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game, legendary
Like
status?
Turtles in Time?
No, Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade.
Well, the answer would still be no. They're not legendary. They're good. They're not legendary.
But not. Yeah, I know what you mean. Like, legendary is like a Chrono Trigger or like.
No. Legendary is just
Mario.
literally like I don't think there's a person in the world that wouldn't like this game.
Yeah. So it's like when I was looking at like franchises, when I was thinking Metroid, I was going to choose the first one, but then I was like, Super Metroid is a different level of Metroid. And then I wanted to choose Arkham Knight, but Arkham Asylum really changed everything for superhero based movies. Games, I mean. The way Batman Begins changed comic book movies.
Did Arkham Knight change superhero games or did it just change Batman games? Because Batman games had always sucked until that point.
Yeah, I would say Arkham Asylum.
We'd
would be
had
one that I
good
would
Spider-Man
give
games
that.
before. Hell, we even had good Marvel games.
Oh,
We had
superhero in general.
But
Yeah.
would you choose Spider-Man better than Arkham Asylum, though?
like the new Spider-Man over Arkham Asylum.
No. I'm talking about like.
Well, if we're talking
Asylum.
Spider-Man 2 against Arkham Asylum, I'd still take Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2 is really fucking good.
Yeah, it was really good.
Hmm.
Like, obviously, graphically, it's not as good as Arkham.
And by the way, Arkham Asylum isn't even the best one. Arkham City is easily the best one.
Arkham Knight was my favorite.
Nah,
To be
man.
entirely honest.
Nah, Arkham City was fucking legit.
I liked
No, I loved
City
I
and Night.
loved
I
Arkham
liked
City.
equally.
The only bad one in this series was Arkham Origins, and even then, it wasn't horrendous.
Well, it doesn't even count because it's not even a Rocksteady game.
That's true, and that's the one I haven't played yet.
Good. Keep it that way.
Well,
It's
no, I
a-
own it. I have to play it. It's in the backlog.
God
It's
damn
a
it,
great
Chris.
story. It's a great story. It's the weakest of the series.
Yeah, by a long shot.
Dang.
So if you were to like give like the Arkham Knight, Asylum, and City would all be between the ranges of 8.5 to 9.5 out of 10. Arkham Origins would probably be about 8 maximum.
No.
7.5 to 8 maximum.
No. I put Arkham Origins as a 6.5.
Okay, so
really?
what's
Yeah.
different
It's
about
not that-
Origins that's different
Uh,
from the other three?
Batman's fighting skills aren't as strong in the other games, but this is a prequel.
I'm not even talking
Yeah, but-
critically, like straight up. Origins isn't nearly as fun. It's not that fun.
It's a lot shorter as well.
Oh, that's
A
good.
lot shorter.
It's just
get through
I
the
straight up
backlog
just
quicker.
I straight up played through it. I didn't enjoy it. Like just straight I didn't feel like there was much to it. Because it was another team making it, so they
felt
didn't
like
know
a-
what they were doing with it.
It just didn't feel necessary to make as well. It was like, okay, I appreciate an Arkham game coming out, but it didn't need to come. It didn't need to be made. It didn't need to exist, essentially.
So it was a cash grab.
Essentially, yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
But then Arkham Knight came along, and it's like, oh, awesome again.
They have to try. Except the PC port at first.
Would you guys give Doom legendary status?
The original?
Yeah.
Original Doom?
Yep.
As a
I'd probably give it
game, no. But as for what it means to the industry, yes.
Yeah. And honestly, I'd probably give it more to
Wolfenstein, yeah.
Because it was technically the first one.
No, I agree with that, but it's just like
It's not a
Doom was
legendary
just-
game to play. It's just a legendary game.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Because like then I'd have to choose like every puzzler. Like Pong would have to be fucking legendary.
Yeah,
Oh, you know
like
what?
Doom is legendary to like asteroids being legendary, Space Invaders, or like it's just a game that you put
know
in
what?
there in the
That was
timeline
my-
of like games that made the industry better.
Okay, that's my 10. Super Mario 3, Ocarina of Time, Metal Gear 5, Resident Evil 4, Street Fighter 2, Arkham Asylum, Super Metroid, Mortal Kombat 1, Doom, and Tetris.
There you go. Otherwise,
so much fun.
we're almost coming up to 2 hours, so we should probably end it soon because we also got gameplay to record right after this. So
Yes, we do.
Yeah,
we got shit to do. So I think that's gonna do it for this. So if you've been somehow like putting yourself through hell to get through this podcast, we do appreciate it actually. So if you're watching this on YouTube, like the video, subscribe to the channel for more content, share it with all your friends, and comment below. If you are listening to this on an audio service, please rate it if you can. Otherwise, share that with your friends as well. And then of course, just be cool, guys. Just be cool.
Just be cool.
And I know I forgot to say it on Tuesday.
That's because I said it. Chris stole it from you. He stole
be
it.
safe,
He
everyone.
stole it.
And then be safe, be smart, and let's get through this shit together.
At some point, we got to stop saying it because it's almost going to count for being redundant, isn't it?
To be entirely honest, right now there are people who are still having house parties, like unfortunately some of my Dallas Cowboys are.
Are you
And
trying
there
to
still
say that people are
who
still
think
stupid?
It's a fucking conspiracy. So unfortunately, until this is over, I think it needs to be.
Well,
mentioned.
look, this is the thing. There's almost 7 billion people on this planet. You're never going to get rid of all the stupid people. It's just there's no way to
it's-
stop it.
Statistically speaking, it's impossible.
I know. What?
I mean, just blow the planet up. That should solve it, right?
No, because we want the
Yeah.
planet to live. Just humans should die. So honestly, a pandemic would do it.
I mean, it's not working hard enough, apparently. But
Yeah, no, we need a better one. We need a better one.
COVID-69.
Yeah.
COVID
if we're gonna
420.
go, that's how.
Wait,
well,
no. It's
by the
no,
time
remember the
it's
conspiracies.
2069. Chris and I will be in our late. So at that point, it's like we've partied enough.
No, the real one is since everybody thinks COVID is a conspiracy, make it COVID 33 so they think it's a Freemason thing.
Unfortunately, I don't get that.
33 is the symbol of the Freemasons.
Oh,
Or the Illuminati, if you want to go that way.
Let's just call it COVID Illuminati. It's a shamdemic.
COVID infinity symbol.
dun, dun, dun.
It never ends. Speaking of things that never end, so is this podcast. So I'm going to end it the fuck right now. So thank you so much for checking us out, guys. And we will see you on the next one, so take care.